U.S. government first hour. Your boys test Monday, girls test Tuesday. Okay. Here's the review sheet. Today's Friday. Okay. All right. So let's get on this. Get on it right here. Now I did a quick review. If you guys weren't here yesterday, the last 4 minutes of the lecture yesterday, I did a kind of a quick overview of the essay. Was that in here? Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of wasn't.
You were
slower.
Okay. Well, it's on YouTube.
Okay, that's true.
So you can pause. You can go at half speed if you want. Right? Can you do half speed? Slow it down. There's 15 matching, guys, split into 2 sections. Told you that yesterday. Fill in the blank. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fill in the blank. Okay. Multiple choice. 23, that looks like 15 multiple choice. Okay, and true and false. 9. 5-point answer on gerrymandering, long answer, and then some quick 1-point short answers about who controls Congress, how many seats there are in Congress, who the leadership is, Speaker, Vice President, and Senate Majority Leader. You will need to know their names. So Nancy, Kamala, and Chuck. Yes? And then who represents the 4th District of Kansas? Ron. Okay. Now.
What was the first short answer question?
Over gerrymandering.
Oh, let me say the 1.1. First 1.1.
Who controls Congress? The House and the Senate currently. Yeah. Which part? Okay. All right. So those are easy. I mean, like bam, 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 right? Bam. Okay. So let's go over the review sheet. What do you say? Okay. At the top, Congressional Oversight. Okay. Congressional Oversight. Find it? Get it? Yeah. You got your review sheet? Because we're about to start. Congressional Oversight. What kind of question is that? Okay, for many years, it was seen as the neglected function of government, where they didn't really watch over the executive branch very much. Remember when I always go back to this? The NSA is watching you. Who's watching the NSA? National Security Agency. You follow me? Okay. So oversight is overseeing the executive agencies of government. So you got 3 branches, right? So the legislative branch, Congress, oversees the executive branch to make sure that they're doing things legally. Okay. Like not violating the 4th Amendment and spying on the American people. Okay. Or I think I gave an example like the IRS. So if the Internal Revenue Service is mistreating Americans when they're doing audits, then Congress, who represents the people, says, hey, quit mistreating the people. With me? Okay? So, that is what congressional oversight is, okay? Interest groups. Interest groups. I mean, pretty simple, but let me try and find you a technical definition. People who act together to achieve shared political goals. People that act together that act together to achieve shared political goals. I think this was in the notes. immunity. So members of Congress have immunity from what? Does anybody remember this? Like they can't be arrested on their way to or from a session of Congress or in Congress. And then they can't be sued for what? What they say on the floor of Congress. Okay, so they can't be sued for things like libel or slander. Okay, let's talk about electoral votes. How many electoral college votes does Kansas have? 6. Okay, and how do we arrive at that number? Oh, good. 2 senators and 4 representatives, 4 districts. Okay, that equals 6. Now, how many total electoral college votes are there in this country?
270.
Stop. How many members are there in the United States Representatives? What? 435, right? How many senators? 100. Oh, let's go right there. Plus 3 for DC, right? What amendment was that?
23rd.
23 rhymes with DC. 23 DC 3. So let's do some math in government class. There are a total of 538 electoral college votes. And divide that in half. 269, how many do you need to win? 270. So if you know all that, you can answer multiple questions on that. Okay. I'm sorry? 538? To get a half plus 1? So half of that is 260. Okay. 538 total. So we're just figuring out how you win the electoral college, right? So you got to have a majority of the electoral college to win. So 269 is half, so that's not a majority. Half plus 1 is a majority, which is 270. Now the 1 is, you need 270 to win.
Yeah, but like all these other numbers came.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. I got rid of that. Stop. I got rid of that. Now, you have to win the majority of electoral college votes to win the presidency. How do we get to a majority? How do you figure that out? You divide it in half, right? And add 1, that's a majority. So it's like this in the Senate. If you have 51-49, it's like the Senate. If you have 51-49, you have a majority. Okay, 50-50, you have a majority because whoever controls the vice presidency, Democrats do. So Democrats have a majority with 50-50, okay? But in the electoral college, you need 270. Sweet. I know, it's morning, and it is Friday.
It is Friday.
And what's next on the list? Constituents. People that live in a congressperson's district or state is a constituent. You have a test in another class? It's fine.
I'll be looking over this.
I know you will. I'm not picking on you. What class is that? Oh, God.
You have tests inquired?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's terrible.
yeah,
But I was thinking
Name child.
create a song.
Hey, can I just give you a little advice? When you get to college, if you go to college and you have to take humanities classes, you take music appreciation, it's hard. If you take art appreciation, it's hard.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la.
No, like you're gonna have to listen to classical music and tell the teacher compose that.
Shakespeare.
No,
You're basically saying.
no, Bach
B flat.
or Beethoven or Vivaldi or Wagner
Mozart.
or Mozart.
Let's hear it.
Is that what you guys are doing? Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. I'm like, look at this book.
It's like
Oh, you're in there too.
No,
No, I just.
It's like learning a different language.
basically.
Minor keys. B minor,
What's
C
that?
minor.
That's
impressive. So you could sing, but you don't play an instrument. You might, okay, we might not play an instrument, so you gotta do
Your voice.
Oh, I got
Ah.
I got you.
See, Wilson gets it.
Oh, Wilson.
Wilson gets it.
Going on.
Well,
Hey.
Yeah.
So just-
Maybe that's why I can't sing either.
Well, I mean, everyone can sing.
No, I'm terrible.
Everyone can sing. It's just might not be good.
No,
All right.
I am.
Did you repeat the definition for consistent?
When the root of.
For which one?
On the bottom.
People that live in a congressperson's district or state.
Thank you.
Now, you could extend that to, you know, we're all constituents of Joe Biden. We're all constituents of Governor Laura Kelly as well. Okay, but we're talking about Congress, so. All right, now, what's next? Okay, how old do you have to be elected to the House? 25. Senate? 30. President? 35. So 25 for the House, 30 for the Senate. Must you be a U.S. citizen to run for the House? Yes. How many years must you be a citizen? 7. How many years must you be a citizen in the Senate? 9. Yeah, I mean, it's like math this morning. It's called cross-curricular learning. Math and government class.
That's a big,
Okay.
that's a big word.
Yes.
You said 9 years for the Senate. Right?
Yes, ma'am?
Is that what you learned in the service? Fancy terms.
Yeah. No, actually, yes. Yeah, that's what you get in your master's degree in education, okay? Now, if we can just go ahead and talk about this. How long must you be a citizen to be president?
10, 11 years.
Forever.
You have to be
25.
You have to be natural born,
35.
and you must be 35 years old.
So technically, you could be.
I guess.
Favor,
Yeah.
you know my daughter.
Yeah.
She was born in China. She cannot be president.
That's tough.
But she's being really
She
good.
would
I
make
will
it.
say you're stupid.
She's too emotional.
Yeah, I agree. She's a little.
Yeah, controlling. She's like,
She's in my house.
Is everyone roasting?
okay, what's next? Oh, the other thing is, guys, you have to live in the district or state that you represent. So a senator just has to live in the state. Ron Estes has to live in the 4th district. That's tough. You represent where you live.
Wait, so are we constituents of Ron Estes?
Yes, ma'am?
So what's
Okay. Not sure if I've talked about this, but ex post facto. Guys, ex post facto laws are illegal. They're illegal. Okay, so. Hi. Do you have the review sheet I gave you yesterday?
Yes.
We're about a third of the way through it. But I'm recording, so you can go back and watch this if you want. There's some interesting conversations. Okay, now, what am I talking about? Ex post. Okay, today it is legal to smoke cigarettes in the United States. Let's say tomorrow they pass a law saying it is illegal to smoke cigarettes in the United States. Can they charge you with a crime for smoking yesterday? No, that would be an ex post facto law. Laws that are retroactive. Okay, those are illegal. I need to stand still. Somebody was saying the other day on my videos that I make them dizzy
Yeah.
because I walk back and forth. Yeah. All right.
And the camera's following.
Yes.
Just put the camera like way back here, and then so if it gets you whole time.
Yeah, but it's
Put it right
here. Yeah, but it's also not as cool with the little, with if it's not a little spinning thing.
Yeah, and then it's harder to see the slides.
But you post the slides.
I do.
So we could just have, we could split open 2 tabs.
That's why I just.
You want to, you can just listen, especially like if you're sick, like you don't need to actually. That's true.
Okay. I don't. Franking. You guys, did we talk about this? Yeah, we did. Members of Congress can send mail for free. Okay? So they can send out information whenever they want to their constituents. Okay. Impeachment, guys, to define it, impeachment is to formally accuse. In which body does impeachment take place?
Exactly, all of them, basically.
Impeachment happens in the House. So once you accuse somebody of a crime, and if they are impeached, you need to hold a trial. Where's the trial held? And the jury has how many members? 100. Okay? So we've had 3 presidents impeached, one of them twice. None of them have been convicted because you need 67 or 2/3 to convict in the Senate. Impeachment, guys, is a political trial. It's not a criminal trial. The whole thing is politics. Okay? We talked about Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and Andrew Johnson, who was Lincoln's vice president.
We need to know those.
No. Okay. What's a PAC? Come on, somebody's got this. Committee. Okay. Political action committees branches of interest groups that provide funds to candidates. They raise money for interest groups. Okay, PACs. I told you about that, right? I talked about Coke PAC and how they raise money. These are big enterprises. And I talked about how we could start our own PAC, right? All right. Apportion. Okay. The next 3, apportion, district, and census, all kind of play in together. Okay. How many members of the House of Representatives are there? Okay. So 435 are divided up amongst the 50 states based on what? population. Every 10 years, we do a population count. Yes? Okay, that's called the, okay, so you can write that down. Census is population count every 10 years. Okay? Because there's changes in population within the states and among the states, you've got to apportion or reapportion these seats every 10 years. So some states will gain population and gain seats. Some states will lose population and lose seats. So that map over there is going to change in 2022, this year. By the way, remember when we talked about gerrymandering and I did the Big Apple up here? Right? When we were looking for a Republican in New York City? Yeah. So yesterday, an appeals court in New York found that the Democrats in New York illegally made their new map, which would have 26 seats. So right now, New York has 29 electoral votes. Take 2 away from that because of the Senate, right? So they had 27 House seats. Yes? Yes? Everybody follow that. Now, they lost 1 because they lost population. So now they're going to be down to 26 House seats. They got to draw 26 districts. Many of those will be in New York City, yes? They did not consult with any Republicans on this map, and they gerrymandered the crap out of it. And the appellate court in New York said this map is illegal. So they're saying you got to redraw it. Okay? Because Davis versus Vandermeer, which is at the bottom, near the bottom, said extreme cases, let's go ahead and do that one. 1986, Davis versus Vandermeer. Extreme cases of gerrymandering are unconstitutional. Now, I think I told you this. The Kansas map is in court right now, too. Okay? Now, we only have 4 districts to draw. Okay? But it's in court. Okay? So we'll see the outcome of that. Okay, so what is apportionment? Is dividing up the 435 seats after the census. Redrawing the districts. That's apportionment. Okay? It's like divvying out. Okay? I've got, 36 pieces of candy. I'm going to apportion those out to you guys. Does that make sense? All right. So a district, right, is, we draw 435 of these. So it's like a political boundary. District is a political boundary. Okay. That a member of the House represents, yes? So Ron Estes represents our district. We have 4 in Kansas. New York's going to have 26.
Wait, how many years?
Every 10 years. So the first census was 1790. Okay? We've done it every 10 years. So we know how many people live in the United States. So right now that number is about 340 million in the United States. Okay? So if you divide 435 into 340 million, you get about 781,000 in each district. That was pretty impressive how I just did that math, wasn't it? Yeah.
We could get like enough people. 435.
Yeah. Whoa. Hold up now. The number 435 is constant.
So that won't change the just number of people represented.
Yes, has continued to go up. So I talked about this earlier. So in 1910, 110 years ago, there were 91 million Americans, okay? And if you divide that by 435, the number you would get was 205,000. So, huh? Yeah, I'm a math whiz. I teach this, so I remember this number. Yes, obviously. Okay. So, yeah. So, guys, in reality, remember, I think you remember we talked about this. We said, well, should we increase this number? Originally, the House had 65 members. In 1790, we had 65 members. They increased to 435 in 1910. It's been 110 years since we increased the number of members of the House. Is it time? Because if you're competing, if you're trying to get Ron Estes' attention, you're competing with 781,000 other people for his attention. How well is he representing you? If you add more members of the House, you have more politicians, and they each make $174,000 a year, and they all have pensions. At some point, we'll have to look at this as the population continues to grow. Okay. All right. We already did constituents. All right. Congressional powers. Just trying to see what I got on that. Okay. You guys remember what an express power is?
Powers
In the
specifically.
It's in the Constitution. Can you name one? One power?
No.
Okay. Is gerrymandering a power expressed? No. What about negotiating with foreign militias? What about investigating tax evasion? What about establishing a system of national courts? That sounds like a pretty good one. Oh,
It sounds like it would be made.
because they only talk about the Supreme Court in the Constitution, but then it says Congress has the power to establish all courts after that. That's an express power. What other kind of powers we got here? Okay, I'm sorry. Establish a system of national courts. Let's talk about other powers. Okay, we just did this a little bit. Which chamber has the power to impeach? The House. Which chamber has the power to conduct an impeachment trial? Which chamber must bills that are going to spend money or tax you, which chamber must it begin? Which chamber has to approve presidential appointments? The Senate. So like the judges, the Senate, yes? Which chamber has to approve treaties? Senate by a 2/3 majority. Okay? Okay. Okay. So being able to differentiate a little bit between the House and the Senate there is good, and the powers that they have. Okay. The face of Congress. I think we kind of started with this like You walk into the Capitol building and you bump into a member of Congress, what does it look like? Old white Christian lawyer type person, yes? But that's changing, yes? Yes. So we are more diverse than we have been in the past. Okay, Westbury versus Sanders, 1964. So if we're going to draw 4 districts in Kansas, the easiest way to do that would be this. But instead, we do this. This. Instead of this. Why? Yeah, because of this court case. Okay, which says one person. Westbury versus Sanders, 1964. One person. One vote. So each one of these districts with 340 million people, 435 seats apportioned among the states, each one of these districts needs to have 781,000 people in it. Yes? Because of Westbury versus Sanders. Okay? And because of Westbury versus Sanders, we get gerrymandered. So you're going to try and draw these districts to favor your political party. Okay, terms in office. How long is a House term? 2 years. How long is a Senate term? 6 years. So every 2 years, all 435 seats are open for election. Yeah, every 2 years. That's the Senate. The Senate, only 1/3 of the Senate is up for election every 2 years. So you can't have complete turnover in the Senate, but in the House you could. Ron Estes going to win re-election? Ron, what happened to your pass? It's like ripped.
The lady, whenever she was tearing it off, ripped it. And I was okay.
All right. Express powers. Just did that. Establishing national courts. Express powers are written in the Constitution. And things like establishing national courts, taxing. Tax is an express power. Declaring war is an express power. Presidential appointments. What type of people does the president get to appoint? His cabinet and federal judges, ambassadors. And then yesterday I talked about consuls, right? Consulates, consuls, yes. And who must approve those appointments? The Senate. How many votes do you need for a judge? 51, majority. How many do you need for a cabinet member? 60. Okay, so listen, the nuclear option that I talked about, right? The nuclear option where they changed this only is for judges. So for cabinet members, you need 60 votes. Okay? Or it can be filibuster. Yes? I mean, you may not filibuster and get 51 votes if there's no filibuster, but you might need 60 votes. in case somebody wants to filibuster your appointment of the Secretary of Defense or the Attorney General or something like that. You're like, no, we're going to filibuster that. Okay. All right. Party leadership, that was just to add in, okay, you need to know who the Speaker of the House is, Nancy Pelosi, Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, Vice President, Kamala Harris, face of Congress. The average member of Congress is white, male, Christian lawyer. Chuck Schumer's the Senate Majority Leader. And who represents the 4th District of Kansas? Ron Estes. Okay. Gerrymandering. Okay, do you remember where it comes from, the origins? Governor Gerry of Massachusetts, okay, 1811, drew a district in Massachusetts that looked like a salamander. Gerrymandering. Okay, now, if you're going to explain this to me, 2 ways to gerrymander. 1, by putting your strengths within a district. Okay, so putting a bunch of people in your own party, including them in that district, or by dividing up your opponent's strengths. So trying to cut in half, say, heavily Democratic areas or heavily Republican areas, splitting them. Okay. All right, let me just ask you some questions. Did I talk to you guys about, in the Senate, where there are no rules? What are these little things here? This is the bill. They're adding these little things. Amendments to the bill. Now, sometimes those amendments can be wasteful spending, yes? What do we call that? Pork barrel spending is wasteful spending. Can you impeach a member of Congress? What you guys doing? Can you impeach a member of Congress? No. Can you kick them out? Yes, that's called what? Expulsion, just like school. Okay? What's the vice president's only official role in Congress? What'd you say? Break tie votes. If there's a 50-50 vote, the vice president has to vote. Okay? And to break that tie. Otherwise, the vice president doesn't vote in the Senate. Okay? A cloture puts an end to a what? Filibuster. Okay, I think we covered it pretty good. Yay. You got it. See you later. Good luck on that test.